Hello Pisces, thank you for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. For supportive oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Alright, already shuffled. What do we have for Pisces? I feel like it's already kind of busy. It feels busy. Like, it feels busy energy. I think this is going to be another one of those where you're doing well. The situation may be a little rough, but you actually, I think, are doing quite well in this situation. My first thought is it's a conflict with someone else. It feels for most of you it's a conflict with someone else. Could be situational, take it with a grain of salt. But when I'm seeing the Fool in the environment, I'm feeling like somebody's just going off and doing what they want to do, and they're kind of ignoring what you're telling them is supposed to happen. There's like, you're holding to the rules. This may be a work thing for a lot of you, but it could be family or relationship of any other sort. But for a lot of you, I'm feeling some work thing where you're like, this is how it's supposed to be done. These are the rules. I feel like literally you're following the rules with the Hierophant, and you got sovereignty kind of like, well, as long as I do things by the rules, it's not going to catch me in the butt in the return. I'm not going to be the one paying for it. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do the way I know I'm supposed to do it. I'm not going to do what this other person's doing. Because somebody else is ignoring you, like flat out ignoring you. I feel like you're flat out warning somebody even. You're like, listen, don't do that. That's not a good idea. And it's like, you know, they're just kind of laughing at you, or just kind of like, pfft, as if you don't know what you're talking about when you do know what you're talking about. They're not taking you seriously, and you're like, well, you know what? You're going to have to do what you need to do. I'm not doing that. I know the right way to do it. I know the way that, I won't get in trouble, at least, if I do it this way. So I'm doing it the way that's not, I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm not going to have problems. And you're doing the right thing, but this other energy around you is kind of scoffing at you. It's literally kind of scoffing at you. The Fool, which isn't a positive or negative card in my view, it's just kind of explaining that energy. It's just kind of like fancy free, do what I want, not worried about it, going my own way, kind of like, I'll do what I want. You're too rigid. Ugh, I'm moving on. I'm going and doing my own thing. You're just being too nitpicky. Not the truth. You're doing what you should be doing. That sovereignty is telling me you're protecting yourself by doing it the way it should be done, is what I'm getting. And that's smart. I feel like that's smart in this situation. Now, this card is in the environment because you're not getting along with this person who's kind of scoffing at you. It's not really something, you don't like that. You don't like somebody scoffing at you. Who really likes that? So you got the Ten of Swords, but part of you, at least a lot of you are feeling this. You're kind of feeling bad for this person because you're like, I'm trying to tell you not to do that. I'm trying to tell you, trying to save you from a pitfall that you're going to run right into. And I feel like you're kind of like, you're upset and devastated about it because you're like, they're going to fall flat on their face. And I tried to tell them, and they're just running fancy free. It's kind of like the cricket, not planning for the winter. And you're like, you're going to go way out there in the field, have nothing to eat, and freeze to death. I'm trying to help you, but you're ignoring me. And it's upsetting you. You're like, they really need to listen to you, and they do, but it's just kind of like deaf ears. They're not hearing it. Nope, not going to hear it. They don't want to. Nope, you're too rigid. Nope, it doesn't have to be done that way. Pff, you're ridiculous. I'm going to go do my own thing. No, you know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. That's what I'm getting. All right, so you're doing your best here. Now, you got the Empress going forward. You do care. For some reason, this person scoffing at you, you seem to still care to some degree. You have to secure your own first. You're doing what you can, but I feel like you're trying to pull them back in. I feel like you're having a hard time giving up. You're like, come on, like, just do a little. Like, come on. Like, I feel like you're still... I don't feel like you're giving up. You're constantly trying to pull them back around because you care. And you're like, that's not going to work. I'm telling you, you got to go by the rules. I'm telling you, you can't just do that. You're trying to look out for this energy. You're really trying to look out for it. It's not like you're not forcing anybody to do anything. You're not. But you're constantly like trying to get them to come back around and be like, listen to me. Come on, don't do that. You're going to have problems. You're going to have problems. Now, this is the weird moment, and this is not a permanent moment. You're going to go forward, and it's going to seem like this energy that scoffed at you is getting ahead. This is not a permanent energy. Keep that in mind, because the Ace of Wands shows up. Yes, the Ace of Wands, it's the start of something, but just because they're making out in the beginning of this situation with the success doesn't mean they planned ahead enough. It's kind of like, the cricket in the fall. There's enough out there still. There's pumpkins, there's this, there's that. They can still make doing that. But when things flat out freeze over, that's not going to be available. So that's what I'm saying. This new phase is coming. This new moment is coming in. And it looks like they're okay. It's a weird moment where it seems like they're fine. They got self-reflection in the sense of like, oh, see, it's working. I told you were too rigid. See, I'm fine. I can do what I want. I told you were too rigid. I told you I could do it this way. I told you I didn't have to hold by the rules the way you are. You're so boring. You're so static. And they seem to be just kind of ribbing you a little bit. For a minute there, you've got the Knight of Wands. It's a little stressful. It might be for most of you because kind of like, you're like, well, for right now, you're okay. For right now, you got resources around you, but it's not going to last. And you're like, listen, I'm telling you, it's not going to last. And like, oh, are you kidding me? Look at me. I don't know how you can say that to me. I got this all down. I got this on lock. I'm good. You're like, no, you don't. And I feel like that's the Nine of Swords for you. You're like, no, you don't. No, you don't have that on lock. It's a moment where they think they're getting ahead, but for most of you, you know better. You're like, no, it's not going to stick. And I can see the cards coming up. So it's not going to stay that way. It's going to rebound on them. You've been trying to help this person. For most of you, it's a person. You keep trying. You seem to care for whatever reason. The situation keeps going forward. You stuck with the rules. You stuck with the rules, and in the very beginning, we said you had sovereignty because of it. Things are going to work out because you did it the way you were supposed to. And you knew it, and you tried to tell this other person. So you're sailing along very comfortably, happy with what you've done, happy with what you have under your belt. I've been storing my stuff. I have things here ready for the winter. I'm ready to go. I've been doing what needs to be done because I know what's about to happen. And you're comfortable and happy and secure, taking care of yourself like you should. Then this comes in the environment. You're still doing good, by the way, at this point. But the day of reckoning comes. Three of Swords with the Hanged Man and the acceptance that they should have done what you told them to do. And you were giving them reasons. It's not like you were just saying it, you weren't telling them to do the hokey pokey, just stick your foot in and stick it out. You weren't saying something stupid like that. You were saying, get this stuff, put it over here, keep it for later, you're going to need it later. You were explaining why they weren't listening to you. Winter comes, basically, that's the best thing I can say. Winter comes, they're devastated because they got the Three of Swords here, because there's nothing they can do. They didn't do it the right way. They didn't plan ahead. They have nothing to rely on. That's the Hanged Man. They're stuck with what they did. They're stuck with their outcome. The Hanged Man is like they're stuck with it because that's what they did. Now they're caught in this trap it's a trap they made for themselves. It's a trap they set for themselves. It's a trap they got caught in, and they did it all to themselves. And they have to accept that it's on them. They did it. All of it was them doing it to them. All of that was them doing to them. You got the Seven of Wands. It's a success card. It's a success through trial, usually, or through effort of some sort. Literally, the reason you're having a hard time with the success is because you're seeing somebody else fail and it does not make you feel good. You're taking no joy in somebody else failing, even though you told them you wanted them to succeed. That's why you kept telling them. You kept telling them because you wanted them to listen. They just refused to. I feel like that's the whole thing with this reading. To not own this. This is not your fault. You tried to help. You tried to give hints. You kept trying. I feel like the whole way you kept trying to say, listen, do it by the rules. Do it the way I'm telling you to. Because the day will come when you're going to need this stuff. They laughed. They scoffed. They said you didn't know what you were talking about. Lo and behold, guess who knew what they were talking about? The Pisces. The Pisces knew what they were talking about. You know what I mean? They didn't listen. They didn't want to. So this is why it ended up this way. I literally feel like that's the point of this reading. Don't own somebody else's pain when you tried to help and they just refused to listen. This is not your fault. This is not your fault. You're not here to live somebody else's life. You tried to help. You did everything you could. Don't own somebody else's pain. It's not right. You tried to help. You did everything you could. That's what I'm feeling. If this reading is resonating with you, that's what the whole message is. Don't feel this person's pain. I mean, do what you can, of course. Like, you don't have to be completely cold. I give you that. But, like, don't feel bad about it when you tried to help and they just said, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, you did. And you still do, is what I'm getting. And that's what we have for this. All right. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.